What's up, you freaking geniuses? So let's talk about the horizontal line test, all right? So we use the horizontal line test to determine if a function is a one-to-one function, okay? And a one-to-one function is a function where each input has one unique output, all right? So for example, something like, let's say f of x is equal to 2x, all right? So here, this is where our inputs go, right? And then we plug some number in and it spits out, or in other words, gives us an output right here. Okay, so you can see that whenever we plug in a different number for x, a different number is always going to pop out, right? Whether it's positive or negative, something different will always pop out. Now, on the other hand, something like f of x is equal to x squared, this would not be considered a one-to-one function, because as you can see, we can plug in two different inputs and it will give us the exact same output, right? So for instance, if we plugged in a positive 2, well, 2 squared, that's equal to 4, right? What if we plugged in a negative 2? Well, negative 2 squared is also equal to positive 4. So we have two different inputs, but they're giving us the exact same output. So again, that's why this would not be considered a one-to-one function. Okay, now it's important to note that if a function truly is a one-to-one function, that means it also has an inverse, all right? And if a function is not a one-to-one function, then it doesn't have an inverse, all right? Now we can check all of this again using something called the horizontal line test, which again just says if you draw a horizontal line through a function, so here we just have this linear function, this linear graph. So if we draw a horizontal line anywhere through this function, it should only cross it at a single point, okay? And if it does only cross it at a single point, then again, that means that this function is a one-to-one function and it does have an inverse. Okay, let's try just a few more here. So what if we had a parabola? Okay, is this a one-to-one function? Well, as you can see, it fails the horizontal line test, right? Because we can draw this horizontal line and it's gonna hit this parabola at two places, okay? So this parabola is not a one-to-one function, so it does not have an inverse, okay? Now, what if we changed this parabola up a little bit and actually drew it, okay, something like that. All right, now, if we tried the horizontal line test, it actually passes, right? Because it only hits the parabola at a single point. Okay, now let's try just a couple more here. Now, what if I drew the world's most perfect circle, all right? Now, as you can see, if we draw a horizontal line through here, it's gonna hit it, or we can hit it at least two spots, right? So in this case, it fails the horizontal line test. So that just means, again, that this graph, this function is not a one-to-one function and it doesn't have an inverse, all right? Now, lastly, let's look at a rational function. And remember, rational functions have asymptotes. So here we can say that this asymptote, we could just put it on top of the x-axis and we can put this one on top of the y-axis, right? So for a rational function, these two graphs, they get really, really close to the asymptotes, but they never actually touch the asymptotes, right? So in this case, does this rational function pass the horizontal line test? Well, it does, right? Because, for instance, let's say we drew this horizontal line right on top of the x-axis, right? So these two graphs, they're gonna get really, really close to the horizontal line, but it's never actually gonna touch that horizontal line, right? So we're never going to intersect this horizontal line at 2 points. So in this case, this rational function is a one-to-one function and it also has an inverse. So if you found the video helpful, make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below.